Looking.
Okay, so I have to start the session first. Today is August 24th, 2023, our 21st session reading the Urantia book with Heidi. The basic plan is keep reading the paper 109. And then read a little bit on paper 94, and also whatever Heidi want to share with us. So 今天是8月24日2023年我们的第21次会议与海蒂读玉书。今天呢要读109篇，思想调整者与受造物的关系。还要继续读这个第94篇，就是萨冷教在中国的传播。然后今天我们以前读了老子和孔子，今天可能要读一些这个佛教的篇幅占了好几个session 在那篇 paper 当中，可能今天我们可以读至少前2篇吧。那个这是基本的 plan。然后呢，还有 Heidi跟我们要分享什么，我们就随他的便。那现在，我已经把他跟我们分享那一小节放在那个聊天区了，大家是否能看到？然后看 Heidi 要跟我们分享这一段要讲什么。Okay, Heidi, I already introduced people to what we are going to read today, and you are about to share with us this little paragraph first.
Sure, and I just want to mention that you said paper 109 and 104, but I don't know if in English you didn't mention that 109 is the papers about the thought adjusters, and 109 is talk, and 104 we're reading.
No, not 104. It's 94. 94 is that the religion in China.
Okay, and yeah, so in paper the thought adjusters is 109.
Yeah, 109.
Okay,
because we already finished 108, so we are about to start 109.
Right. I'm just letting people know that that's about the thought adjusters. We're reading all the papers about.
Yeah, I already told people.
Okay. Could you? Oh, all right.
Yeah, because I cannot remember exactly the English title, so I didn't. I just.
Oh, it doesn't matter if we have the number and then we Chinese, just say what it's about.
I give more details.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think it's more important just to give the number and then tell people what the paper's about, this subject. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 94, of course, we're reading. Yeah, we're just reading. We're just focusing in on the section on Chinese religion because this is a group for mainly Chinese people.
Yes, 他就说要强调那个109篇是关于思想调整者与受造物的关系，然后就是这一系列全都是思想调整者的主题。然后94篇我们为什么要读？因为我们选的那章节都是关于跟中国有密切关系的宗教，就是那些在中国比较流行的宗教。
So before we start today before we continue reading about the thought adjusters today, I just found one paragraph that I thought was very interesting that I wanted to share, and it's in paper 28, ministering spirits of the super universes.
Okay. 就是在读思想调整者篇章之前呢，因为他读玉书就是翻到有一段，然后他想跟我们分享是第28篇的第五部分的一段。
And it's in section number 5, this secondary seconophym.
是在第5部分的，就是secondary seconophym.
Yes.
是什么？I don't understand what's that.
Seconophym are a type of this paper is about the ministering spirits of the super universes, and seconophym are a very high level angel So the secondary Sakanatham are they're type of ministering spirits, the Sakanatham are angels.
对，那个大概这一部分整个的大篇都是讲这个行政体系的，宇宙的行政体系的。那么天使这个 Sakanatham 是一个比较高级的天使那个系列当中的，就是比较高级别的一个天使。
And in this and this section, which talks about the Sakanatham, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 has 7 sections in it. This section number 5 has 7 sections in it.
对，第五部分呢，这个28篇的第五部分大概是有7段。
And the paragraph that I'm going to read is in section number 3.
那这个要读的这一段是摘自第3段，第五部分的第3段。
And it's talking about angels. This section is talking about angels that foster and promote teamwork in the super universe.
就是天使他们要这个团队精神、合作精神来这个完成他们在宇宙当中的使命。
So it says, one of the most important lessons to be learned during your mortal career is teamwork.
他说在你的凡人生涯中学到的最重要的一课就是团队合作。
And when they say mortal career, they mean our first life here on earth.
他说这个凡人生涯呢，就是指的我们在地球上的第一个生命，就是这个肉身的生命。
The spheres of perfection are manned by those who have mastered this art of working with other beings. So manned, manned means populated or are managed by.
Yeah. 完美的界域是由那些掌握了与其他生命合作的艺术的人管理的。这个 manned 就是管理的意思。
Few are the duties in the universe for the lone servant.
在宇宙中孤独的仆人很少有职责可言。
The higher you ascend, the more lonely you become when temporarily without the association of your fellows.
当你扬升的越高，暂时没有伙伴的陪伴，你就会变得越孤独。
Okay, so I wanted to share this because I thought it was very fascinating to me.
他挑出这一篇，因为他觉得这一篇很有意思，这一小段。
We read the whole section on solitary messengers, but they are one of the few beings in the whole universes that work by themselves.
那我们以前呢读过那个单独使者的篇章呢，然后呢就这一篇里边也说，就是很少有这个仆人，就是带职责的那些仆人，就是单独的行动，单独的完成任务。
And I told this group that I identified with the solitary messengers because I've always been quite a loner.
我告诉你们，我就是为什么总跟那个单独使者这么很容易跟他认同，是因为，他就觉得他像就这样一个单独行动的这么一个角色。
I've always had a lot of close friends, and I've always loved people and enjoyed the company of people, but I've always spent a lot of time alone also.
那当然，我也有一些很亲密的朋友，跟他们有时间在一起哈，享受时光。但是我也非常的享受我自己一个人的时间。
And all my life, I really valued this time alone and treasured it.
终其我的一生，我都非常的珍赏我自己一个人的时光。
But I noticed for the first time in my life, the last few years, that I have been getting a little bit lonely and I know, Rick, this kind of thing always makes you laugh, Ricky, and making and craving more human company. And for the first time in my whole life.
这个过去这几年呢，就是我感到有一点孤独，然后呢，我就非常的渴望跟人有这种陪伴的关系。
So it was really interesting to read this, that the higher you ascend, the more lonely you become when temporarily without the association of your fellows.
这一段就说呢，你扬升的这层次越高呢，就是我们中国话有句话叫啥？就是高处不胜寒，就是你就越孤独，就是你的同伴就会越少。
Here on earth, we think of these monks and these gurus who go off in these caves and don't talk to anyone and live 20 years alone. And we think of being alone as a very spiritual experience.
那在地球上，我们就看到有一些僧侣啊，一些古鲁了，他们就是在一个洞穴当中待20年呢，就是这样的修行，我们就认为这些人非常的属灵。
But this paragraph tells us just the opposite.
但是呢，这一段说的意思却跟这个我们的这个认为是相反的。
So it says, few are the duties in the universe for the lone servant. So that means that most of the assignments we'll have throughout all eternity will very rarely be working alone.
他这个地方就说那个到就是那些的职责哈，实现永恒的、永久的那些的职责，往往都不是单独完成的。
And learning to be a good team player, learning to work with different people, to collaborate, is one of the main jobs for us to do here in this first life. That's what it says.
对，那学习怎么样在一个团队当中啊，只是一个团队当中跟大家都合作的很好的成员，是我们要学的一个必要的功课。
You know, that's why I also say that being enlightened is a lot easier than working with people. When you're enlightened, everyone does what you tell them to do. When you're not enlightened, you have to actually work with other people and respect each other equally.
他说那个就是那个你觉醒了，你开悟了，你其实呢比你跟人工作更容易，因为你觉醒了、开悟了，你没必要你去必然的要跟人工作，但是你如果没有觉醒开悟，你就感觉你就一定必然的要跟别人一起工作。
It's easy to get along with people when they think you're right about everything.
It's easy to get along with people when you think you are right.
When they think, when they think you are, when they put you on a pedestal and they think you're smarter than they are and wiser than they are, and you're always right, you're always correct, it's easy to get along with them.
就是说，当别人认为你的什么都是正确的时候，你就是很容易跟别人那个能够合作的好，能够相处的好。
It's much harder to get along with people who think you're wrong.
你跟那些如果认为你不对，那然后反对你的那个这样的情况下，你还去跟人去和谐共处，这种是非常难的。
So I think that it's much harder not to be enlightened than to be enlightened.
他说那就是如果你没有开悟，反倒生活更容易一些。
So I think that I'm just going to say one last time and then we can move on, but that the higher you ascend, the more lonely you become when temporarily without the association of your fellows. So that line means that as you work with people, you learn to love working with people more and more, and you become more and more socialized. That's what this is saying.
I didn't get that.
Okay, so this last sentence again, the higher you ascend, the more lonely you become when temporarily without the association of your fellows. That's very counterintuitive for the way we're brought up to think. We would think the more spiritual you are, the more higher you evolve, the more fine you would be alone, the more independent, the less you would need other people. That's what most of us would think. But they're saying just the opposite.
对，他说就是这个很微妙哈，他就说一般情况下，我们假设我们认为就是说你越属灵呢，就是你越跟人的依赖就少，你根本就不需要跟别人去合作啊，就跟人扎堆儿。但是呢，这一段的最后那一句呢，就是说你扬升的越高呢，如果是没有同伴的陪伴，你就会变得越孤独，就是显得或者是感觉越孤独。那么就跟我们平常认为你开悟之后那个状况有点相反。
They're saying the more they're saying the better you get at collaborating with people, the better you get at working with people, the more you enjoy it, the more you love being around other people.
他说这个是说，就是你越跟人合作呢，合作的愉快呢，你越愿意跟人去合作，跟人去有连接。
I mean, they're not saying that, but it's obvious because they're saying they're saying working with people is important. The more you evolve, the more you want to. So to me, it's obvious they're saying the better you get at it, the more you love it. That's my interpretation. Right? Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't say that, but I'm saying, I'm saying I think
对，
it's
他就
the
说这
obvious.
段没说，但是他是认为，就是说你越跟人合作的越好呢，你就越愿意跟人去合作，这样的一个自然的趋势。
It makes sense that whenever you get really good at something, you love doing it.
然后这就是一个正性的反馈，正性的那个一个环，就是那个加强的关系。你做什么越擅长做什么，你就越愿意做什么。
So here, we often think of working with people as a chore, as a challenge, is very difficult, and it can be.
那我们通常就认为跟人合作呢，是一个挑战，是很难的。
And they're saying it gets better, it gets easier, it gets more fun. And then when you're a very high spiritual being, you don't even like being alone. You get very lonely when you're alone. You want to work with people all the time. You want to be with people. It's like the idea of sharing your life with God, sharing your life with others. You want to share.
他就说你这个跟人合作的越好，越融入的越好之后呢，你随着这个什么灵性进展，你还是希望更多的跟人去分享。
Now, I think a lot of people joined after we already started. So maybe you can just explain that you'll give them this paragraph so they'll know what we're talking about after in your group chat.
他就说告诉我说，就是有很多伙伴，也许是我们开始这个学习之后，才那个进来的。他希望我能够跟大家多一些的这些的解释。
It's just one paragraph in paper 28 that I found that I thought was very, very interesting.
他就是摘的这一篇是从第28篇，那个当中摘出来的。28篇大概是关于这个，什么天使的行政体系啊，还是咋的，我也记不太清。第28篇是大题目是啥？
Okay, so now we could, unless anyone has any questions or anything they want to talk about first, we can move to the thought adjuster paper 109.
大家现在有什么问题吗？可以提出来，如果没有的话，我们就进行109。大家有什么问题要问海底的吗？
Okay, I guess we're starting at the beginning of 109, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, so
but hold on, I have trouble to find where that file is in my laptop WeChat. Okay, where to find that?
this is going to be a good paper.
109篇应该是很棒的。有。Couldn't open it. Karen 还是谁？来，你们给我发一遍呗。你们把109篇给我发一遍，我直接在微信当中打开。我现在在我的 laptop 微信当中找不到那个第109篇。
我找一下。
Am I waiting for you?
Yeah, I'm asking Karen to send me via WeChat the 109 paper 109 because I couldn't find it at my laptop WeChat.
Well, I could read I could start reading in English while you're looking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, paper 109, relation of adjuster, and you can translate relation of adjusters to universe creatures.
这是第109篇，是思想调整者与受造物的关系。Karen 或者荣，你们谁能找到，赶紧发给我哈。
And
给你了已经。
发了已经。
发给你了。
荣，我看见了。Okay, hold on.
Why, Heidi, your lip color is so beautiful.
My what?
Lip colors. Lipstick color.
The color of lipstick color?
Lip. So beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, next time I will wear lipstick as well. So someone will. Okay.
It's actually a mixture of colors. I use a little brush and I have all these old lipsticks in a little thing and I just mix the colors.
Wow.
So it's always a little different.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to share screen now.
Now, remember, thought adjusters are also called mystery monitors and fragments of God. And what's the other thing they call them? Divine something. Divine
controller? I'm not sure.
Divine spark, maybe? I don't know. Divine something.
这个思想调整者呢，又叫神力监督者，又叫神的片段、父的片段，反正它是有很多叫法的，但是都是指的思想调整者。
And throughout history, it's just so natural for people to talk about the God in their heart. It just seems like a universal thing for people to just say, God, you know, in your heart, or the God in your heart, or the God who lives within. That's all thought adjuster, but no one has. The Urantia book is the first book to really explain how God could be, you know, in the middle of the universe, out there somewhere, and also inside you.
他说我们通常就说，哎呀，神在我们心里啊，就是像这种的表达方法，实际上就是指的这个神的片段，像思想调整者在我们里面，但是呢，没有哪一个著作很详细的像《玉苒厦之书》一样把这个指出来。
Okay, you already said relation of adjusters to universe creatures,
Yes.
right? Okay, I'm reading. The thought adjusters are the children of the universe career, and indeed are the children of the that's a strange thing to say. Okay, the thought adjusters are the children of the universe career, and indeed the virgin adjusters must gain experience while mortal creatures grow and develop.
第一句话是思想调整者是宇宙生涯的产物，他这个孩子这个地方翻成产物。那事实上，初始类调整者必须在凡人受造物成长和发展时获得经验。
I'm not sure why they're calling them the children of the universe career, but maybe we'll find out.
Product.
The product?
Are the children of the universe career?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yes, I'm not sure why they're calling thought adjusters the children of the universe career, but maybe we'll find out.
Yeah.
You can.
他不太确定为什么这个地方说思想调整者是宇宙生涯的孩子。他说，也许慢慢的我们会读出来。
As the personality of the human child expands, for the struggles of evolutionary existence, so does the adjuster wax great in the rehearsals of the next stage of ascending life.
这句话说，当人类孩子的人格为进化存在的挣扎而扩展时，调整者在下一个扬升生命阶段的排练中也是如此。
I think what I'll read the next one then. As the child acquires adaptive versatility for his adult activities through the social and play life of early childhood, so does the indwelling adjuster achieve skill for the next stage of cosmic life by virtue of the preliminary mortal planning and rehearsing of those activities which have to do with the Morancha career.
这一句比较长。就像孩子通过幼儿时期的社交和游戏生活而获得适应成人活动的多种技能一样，内住的调整者也通过初步的凡人计划和排练那些与灵质性生涯有关的活动而取得下一个宇宙生活阶段的技能。
Human existence constitutes a period of practice which is effectively utilized by the adjuster in preparing for the increased responsibilities and the greater opportunities of a future life.
人类的存在构成了一个实践阶段，这个阶段被调整者有效地用来为未来生活中增加的责任和更大的机会做准备。
But the adjuster's efforts while living within you are not so much concerned with the affairs of temporal life and planetary existence. Today, the thought adjusters are, as it were, rehearsing the realities of the universe career in the evolving minds of human beings.
但虽然调整者生活在你之内，但是他们的工作并不太关注世俗生活和行星存在的事物。今天，思想调整者像过去一样，正在人类的进化心智中排练着宇宙生涯的实相。
So this whole introductory paragraph is basically telling us what I keep reminding you, and that is that the adjusters are really more concerned with the Morancha life than with this one. They're really just preparing us for the next life. That's the main objective. They want us to make it to the next life. Many of us won't make it. Well, not us, not in this group. We won't make
就
it.
说
We'll
这
all
个
make it.
109篇这个前言呢，也就是强调的，也像我以前一直跟大家讲的，就是说这个向调整者关心的，更是我们的下一个阶段的生命，是我们是否能够续存到下一个阶段，而并不是那么关心我们及时的这个肉身生命这个层面的事情。我们就是说，那有一些人就会达到这个续存，有一些就不会。当然他说我们这个小组的人那是没有这个问题。
So basically it looks like they hold on one second. They say they're rehearsing the realities of the universe career. In other words, a lot of what they're doing here is preparing. I don't know if I think they're preparing themselves and us also for the next world, for the next not just the next world, but for our whole future life. That's what they're saying. Now, how do they do that? I think because the thought adjuster and our mind together create our soul. So I think what they're saying is that they're really working on our soul, the development of our soul.
对，他就是说这个思想调整者在做准备，因为他们自己也为我们做准备，为了未来的生涯。那么就是你像我们的灵魂呢，是我们的心智跟思想调整者合作产生的，达成进展的。
Because it says they're rehearsing the realities of the universe career in the evolving minds, but our minds evolve into our souls, and our souls are what go to the universe career. We leave our mortal minds behind. So I think in a way we have two minds in this life. We have our physical mortal mind and the mind that's evolving. Yeah, the mind that's evolving in our soul, because they say in the evolving minds of human beings. So that's like the mind that our soul is like an evolving mind. So they're rehearsing this. We don't know they're doing this, but they are rehearsing with our soul. They're rehearsing with our soul. They're getting our soul ready for the universe career. And they're also rehearsing. So that means they're getting better at it. They're getting better at working with our soul. You could say, I think that would be accurate to say.
这最后一句是这个那条思想调整者在人类的进化心智中排练着宇宙生涯的实相。那么就是我们现在的那个，这个心识呢，到最后要进化到灵魂的层次。那么我们在下一个世界，就是实际上就把那个肉身层面的那个心识撇到一边去了，因为那个时候我们的心识，我们的心智就是灵魂。所以就是我们可以说现在有两套系统，一个是肉身 跟肉身比较结合的心识，还有那部分正在进化的心识。那么思想调整者就在那个进行这个转化的工作，使我们的心识进化，以为下一个宇宙生涯做准备。
So by the time we get to the Marancha worlds and we wake up with our new souls, our thought adjuster is already very competent in working with our souls in the next world. They've been practicing our whole life of working with our Marancha mind. So they're already good at it. By the time we wake up on the next world, our thought adjuster is already ready to work with our new Marancha mind.
那我们就是在宅下世界醒来的时候，我们就是有一个新的心识，就是我们的灵魂。那么那个时候，我们的思想调整者他也就是变得非常的熟练，那个跟我们的灵魂合作，因为他已经在前一阶段，前一个我们的生命阶段已经实践排练过了。
Okay, now part number 1. I'm just gonna say number 1, development of adjusters.
那么这个2109篇第一部分叫调整者的发展。
There must be a comprehensive and elaborate plan for the training and development of virgin adjusters before they are sent forth from Divinington, but we really do not know very much about it. There undoubtedly also exists an extensive system for retraining adjusters of indwelling experience before they embark upon new missions of mortal association. But again, we do not actually know. And before you read that, we want to remind them that virgin adjusters are thought adjusters who have never yet lived in a mortal being. And then they say they're undoubtedly also extensive for retraining adjusters of indwelling experience. Adjusters with indwelling experience means they have already lived in one or more mortal beings.
这个初始类调整者是指的是从来没有跟凡人，在凡人里面住居过的，没有这个经验住居的经验的那些的思想调整者。那个这一整段一整段的 ，Yeah, can I ask someone to read the translation, and then I only translate the comment part. In
Okay.
that way, people can engage. We can engage people more.
Right.
那这个他这整段，他这读这个时候，他会一整段一整段的来，那个比较容易辨识。那可不可以请一个伙伴来给我们读这个右边翻译的部分？那么我只翻译他就是解释的部分，可以吗？这样大家可以更多参与一些。那哪个伙伴今天想来读这个中文翻译的部分？哪个伙伴更方便？
Do we have any volunteers?
我可以读。
Karen said he can read the translation part.
Good, Karen. Thanks, Karen.
No problem.
他第一段已
所以现在我们
经读了，对。
OK，调整者的发展，在初始类调整者从神之圣都出发之前，一定有一个全面而详细的培训和发展计划。但是我们对此知之甚少。毫无疑问，有一个更广泛的体系，在有内住经验的调整者开始执行新的凡人关联任务之前，对他们进行再培训。但是同样，我们实际上并不了解。
So Ricky, they're just saying they have some ways of training to work with us before they indwell us, but they don't really know quite what their training is.
这里边哈，这一段当中他提到初始类的哈，从来没有驻居经验的，他还提到呢是有内住经验的调整者。那么他们在回到神之圣都的时候，要在没有驻居进行下一次任务的之前，要开始执行新的那个要进行再培训。那么这个培训过程呢，这个孤独使者就说我们对此知之甚少。他只是提出有培训这么回事，对，
So at the end of this at the end of this section, at the end of this paper, we're going to read about personalized adjusters, which are we'll also read about self-acting adjusters. So those are two kinds of adjusters that aren't that are their own beings that aren't indwelling people.
那我这一篇大概到最后的部分有讲到人格化的调整者，还有另外叫什么自我行动的调整者，他们应该都是驻居过的，都是经验很丰富的。
They aren't going to merge with a mortal being. They're just existing as their own as their own personality.
那他们就是到某个那个就you mean 人格化的，还是do you mean personalized? Is personalized adjusted the same as self-acting?
No, I see. We're going to read the next section is on self-acting, and then the last section in this paper is on personalized. So we'll read about them. But I think they're two different things. But they're similar. But they're two. But I think they're both personalities that are not going to merge with a mortal. They both. I think they're both. I think we'll find out very soon. But I think they're both very experienced, but for some reason they're not going to merge with the person. They're just their own persons, their own personalities. And we'll find out what the difference is very soon.
对对，他就说不一样。这个人格化思想调整者跟自我行动的思想调整者大概是不一样。他们非常有经验，但是他们大概最后的定命不是要跟我们凡人去融合。我们会读到的。
Okay, Karen. I have been told by personalized adjusters that remember, I know I always remind you and you're probably saying, yeah, I know, stop saying it. But remember, this is written by a solitary messenger. So just keep that in mind. I have been, because when he says, I have been told, he's saying, I, a solitary messenger, I have been told by personalized adjusters that every time a monitor, wait. I should let you translate my comment before I read.
他就说这个关于我，因为这个我就是作者嘛，作者呢就是写这个所有的像调整者的篇章的都是单独使者单独使者说他曾经怎么样，这一段开始。Okay,
Karen, I'm going to read this next paragraph, which I think is just 2 sentences. Yeah. I have been told by personalized adjusters that every time a monitor, mystery monitor, a monitor indwelt mortal fails of survival, when the adjuster returns to Divinington, an extended course of training is engaged in. This additional training is made possible by the experience of having indwelt a human being, and it is always imparted before the adjuster is remanded to the evolutionary worlds of time.
人格化调整者告诉我，每当一个由告诫者内住的凡人未能续存，当调整者返回神之圣都时，就会有一个延长的训练课程。这种额外的培训是通过内住于人类的经验来实现的。 而且总是在调整者被送回时间的进化世界之前被传授。
So Ricky, what this is telling us is not only do most adjusters have previous experience, you know, unless you have a virgin adjuster, all the other adjusters have experience already living in someone. Not only do they have the experience, they also have additional training.
他就说这些思想调整者呢，除了初始类的之外，他们都有跟凡人这个生活的经验，那么他们回来都要经历这样的一个培训。
So when they indwell a mortal and that mortal fails to survive, they go back to Divinington for extensive training. More
就是他
training.
对，本来就是像调整者，他跟凡人就是说去内住，目的就是要融合嘛，融合，然后带着这个凡人到这个宅下世界，或者就是说达到一个灵质性的这样的一种那个续存。那么如果是没能达到续存，那么这个思想调整者他就会分离开之后，他就会回到神之圣都。那么在这样的在被下一次派驻之前，他就要进行一个延长的培训。
They don't just get assigned to another person right away.
他们不会被再又分配给另外一个凡人，马上就会被分派，就是要在这之前要进行培训。
Okay, Karen, I'm going to read this whole next paragraph. Actual living experience has no cosmic substitute. The perfection of the divinity of a newly formed thought adjuster does not in any matter endow this mystery monitor with experienced administrative ability. Experience is inseparable from a living existence. It is the only thing which no amount of divine endowment can absolve you from the necessity of securing by actual living. Therefore, in common with all beings living and functioning within the present sphere of the Supreme, thought adjusters must acquire experience. They must evolve from the lower inexperienced to the higher, more experienced groups.
实际的生活经验没有宇宙的替代品。一个新形成的思想调整者的完美神性，并不以任何方式赋予这神秘告诫者经验丰富的管理能力。经验由一个鲜活的存在不可分割，任何神圣的禀赋都不能免除你通过实际生活获得安全的必要性，这是最重要的。因此，与所有在当前至高者领域内生活和运作的存有一样，思想调整者必须获得经验，他们必须从低级的缺乏经验的群体发展到高級的更有经验的群体。
So Ricky, this is, I mean, it's something that the book is saying over and over again. They're talking about not only the value of experience, but the necessity of experience for all beings, for all beings.
他说这强调这个经验不光是有价值的，而且是必要的，就是对所有的存有都是一样。
So it's pretty extraordinary concept, because they're saying that if you had even a fragment of God that is absolutely perfect in all ways, needs experience. There's no substitute. There is always a difference between a being with experience and a being with no experience, that all personalities must acquire experience as well as divinity if they're not created with it. But thought adjusters are created with divinity, so they don't have to acquire divinity, but they have to acquire experience. And that means that as they as they acquire experience, they start off all being exactly the same, but their experience will make them all different.
他就说这个经验这个重要性是一个非常的超凡的这么一个概念。那么思想调整者是神的片段，在他们的存在本质上当然都是神性的，这个是没有差别的。但是呢，经验是没有替代品的。那么所有的人格都必须要获得经验。然后那个思想调整者，他们从神性方面来讲没有区别，但是呢，经验的多寡是把他们区分开来。
That's why your thought adjuster and my thought adjuster are identical, except for their experience. They have different experience.
那你和你的调整者和我的调整者，他们是类似的，但是呢，他们的经验是不同的。
And this is why when we evolve, we can study all we want and we can read all the books we want, but we have to also go out and get that experience in order to become knowledgeable and wise.
就是我在我们进化过程当中呢，我们可以学习，读任何想读的书，但是我们仍然必须要在实际生活经验当中获得知识和领会智慧。
So the thought adjusters go to Divinington and they get their training. So that's like going to school for us. But then they also have to have that experience. You study something and then you get the experience. The two are different, but you need both. And we're always, throughout all our future, we're going to be doing both. We're going to be studying and learning and then acquiring experience, always.
那这个思想调整者他回去之后，他接受训练，但是就像我们上学一样，你过后他要投入到跟凡人一起的生活经验当中，就像我们一边要学习，另外一方面要获得生活经验是一样的。
Okay, Karen, I'm going to read the next paragraph. Adjusters pass through a definite developmental career in the mortal mind. They achieve a reality of attainment which is eternally theirs. They progressively acquire adjuster skill and ability as a result of any and all contacts with the material races, regardless of the survival or non-survival of their particular mortal subjects. They are also equal partners of the human mind in fostering the evolution of the immortal soul of survival capacity.
调整者在凡人的心智中经历了一个明确的发展生涯，他们达成了一个永远属于他们的成就实相。不管他们特定的凡人主体是否续存，作为物质种族任何及所有接触的结果，他们逐渐地获得调整者的技巧和能力。在培养具有续存能力的不朽灵魂之进化方面，他们也是人类心智的平等伙伴。I have a question.
Sure.
我想问说，调整者不是神的片段吗？他们为什么还要学习
Karen's question that well, if the thought adjuster, the fragmentation of God, why do they need study? But I think that we have been, Heidi already explained that.
I did, but it's really, I tried to explain that, but I focused more on the experience part, but it's a really hard thing to wrap our head around. The fact that you can be perfect and still need to study and need to acquire experience, that goes against everything intuitive for us to believe. It's
对，他一方面那个什么神的确是完美的，但是呢，他又需要获得经验。那么当然这个概念好像很多人就是从直觉上没有办法理解。
But what they're trying to explain to us is that you can be perfect. Think of it, let's think of it differently. Let's think of it as perfect does not mean, let's think of perfect as not necessarily all-knowing, but as flawless, no flaws, no imperfection, no weakness, no temptation to do evil, no, right? Let's think of perfect as flawless instead of all-knowing.
因为我们现在要把这个完美的概念哈，不要想成他什么都知道，而是说他没有瑕疵，没有缺陷，没有缺点，没有弱点，就是不会作恶。那就是把这个完美这个概念要往这个它的本质的属性上去，而不是说他什么都知道。
understand.
What they're trying to say is that even a perfect being, okay, let's take two perfect beings. One has lived in 50 mortals for the last 10,000 years, has acquired incredible experience. The other was just formed yesterday, has never lived in any mortal. The one with experience has something special, added wisdom that the value of what the book is saying is that there is a value of experience that even God cannot create a person, a perfect being with that, with experience. Experience has to be acquired.
他就说，假设有50个，有一个像乔正，他已经驻居了50个凡人，在10000年那个的区间里边获得了很多不可思议的经验。那么另外一个，他就是那种属于初始类的，他没有驻居过任何一个凡人。那么就是它是不一样的，所以就是经验本身后获得的经验本身，它的价值是是这个丰富它的智慧的。
So it's like or this might be a stupid analogy, but it's like the earth is created with rocks, brand new rocks, and then over time the rocks get worn and beat up, and they get beat down over millions of years. Some of them turn to sand. They can't be created. The only way they can become that way is through time. They cannot be created. Sand cannot be created as sand. It has to be rocks first. And even though we know that sand is just a bunch of rocks broken up, even the gods don't create sand. They create I mean, God doesn't create rocks, but you know, they allow the earth to evolve. Everything. Okay, I'm doing a terrible job at explaining.
But yeah, I kind of get what
I'm trying to think of like that there's like something about experience that cannot be created. You know, it has to happen naturally.
对，这个他就强调那个经验，它是不能够被产生出来的。就是经验除了自己去获得，它不是说这是自由拥有那个一个东西。他刚才做一个比喻，但是呢，他又觉得那个比喻也许也没有完全表达他想表达的意思。他是说，那就是说那个总是那个石头是现在呢，然后石头变成了沙子，而上帝不是直接的就产生了沙子。那么必须要经过很多上百万年的这种的风吹雨淋呢，它自动的变成了那个石头，就是变成了沙子。就是说它这个是经验的一个积累，使它的演变成沙子，而不是说神直接就把那个沙子创造出来。
So it's like the military is always very different than other bureaucratic institutions.
因为他就是可能要举下一个例子吧。他说，军事部门跟其他的官僚的政府部门总是不太一样。
Because they know, the smart military leaders know that during a battle, it doesn't matter if you got all A's, if you were the top of your class at West Point Military Academy, that's irrelevant. What they want is someone in charge who has experience in battle.
那他就说，那个军事行动当中呢，任何的一个战争当中，他们可以得到很多的资助，但是起点军校里边的理念，他就说你负责的那个军官一定是比较有经验的。不是说你从起点军校毕业了，你就没有任何战争经验，你就可以当那个头了。
And the very best school, the very best military academy in the whole world cannot give you experience, crucial experience.
最好的、最棒的第一级的那些的军事院校都没有办法代替你这个经验。
And this is why very often people who run great businesses and often the most successful people in the world, businessmen and artists, they aren't always geniuses. Sometimes they're geniuses, but they're always smart. They're always very smart, but they're not the smartest people in the world. They don't have the highest IQ. What they have is experience and other kinds of qualities that make them, very adaptable. They know how to work with people. They learn from their experience. They have self-confidence. All these, they're charismatic. They have a vision. All these other qualities. But what I'm saying is, they're not the perfect person. They are the most successful because of having the highest IQ, which you could compare to being perfect in some way, does not qualify them to do the best job.
他说你具有最高的智商，并不一定说你就是一个成功的人。那么，那些的那个生意方面很成功的，或者是艺术家，那么他们是天才，非常的聪明，但他们不一定具有最高的智商，然后呢，而是其他的那些的品质，那么具有非常的就是调整那个比较灵活的协调能力啊，跟别人工作和谐性有远见啊，这些的品质，然后才铸就了他们的成功而这个有最高的智商，可能就是相对应，就是说是好像我们认为这个是一个完美的人，对，但是这个并不足够，对，这造成成功的结果。
The training they receive is probably to make the most use of the experience they're going to acquire and the experience they've already acquired.
那这个训练本身有可能是让他们更充分的利用他们已经获得的和将要获得的经验。
So a thought adjuster is perfect, so it cannot make a mistake.
这个思想调整者是完美的存有，他们不会犯错误。
But with experience, it can get better and better at communicating with its mortal subject.
但是呢，随着就是如果通过训练，他通过经验， 的累积，他们就会跟凡人能够交流的更好一些。
So I think that one of the problems is that because thought adjusters are God and are a fragment of God, we think they must be exactly like God the Father, God the source and center of all things. And I think they must be a little different.
那就是如果我们把思想调整等同于神，那么就是等同于上父，我们就会完全等同，那么就认为他是这个本源呐、中心呐。可是就是他还是不太一样的，思想调整者跟上父。
Because God the Father is also God the Supreme. You know, it's just too much to go into. But I think that God, the source and center, doesn't need training, right?
No.
But the thought adjusters do. So there's got to be a difference.
Yeah, I think I was reading paper 116 regarding God the Supreme. I think that's
Yes, that
because
helps.
after this thought adjust, we are going to read
Yes.
maybe 3 or 4 papers on that.
Yes.
More expand the idea about
Yes,
more
about
important.
God experience. God is
Experience.
acquiring experience.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
essential in creation, in expansion of divinity.
Yes.
So I think those paper might answer Karen's
Well, they
concern
might help.
better.
This is really, really difficult stuff
Yeah.
to understand. But if you can translate what you just said to me.
对，我就是说提到，就是我昨天因为这阵儿一直在校对嘛，我在校那个116篇，那么那个是关于至高无上者，神至高无上者，就是说他那个 God the Supreme 就关于那个的一篇，就是它就是整个的至高无上者神这个概念，它就是一个经验的扩展，它整个的都是在强调经验的重要性。所以这个 Karen 呢，你可以把这个问题先存着，然后我们读完思想调整者，然后再读那个至高无上者神的时候，这是你会进一步的了解为什么经验是这么的重要。你现在先有这样一个概念就好了。谢谢。
Okay, I'll say one more analogy and then I'll read the last paragraph of this section. Okay, let's say we have 2 perfect women. They've never done anything wrong. They've never had a negative thought. They're pure love. They're holy. They're saints. They're perfect women. And they each have a baby. And the only difference is one has already had 10 babies and she's raised them all to adulthood. The other one, equally perfect. This is her first baby. Which one do you think is going to be the better mother?
对，他就说，他在做一个类比，然后再读最后一段。那么就是有2个妇人，那么他们都是非常的完美的，有爱心的，都有一个小孩儿。那么不同之处在于，第一个妇女她已经有过养育大了10个小孩，从这个 baby 一直养到大人的经验。那么另外一个妇人，这是她的第一个，她以前没有养育孩子的经验。那么你想，哪一个妇人会是比较更好、更称职、更合格的母亲呢？会做得更好呢？
And even though they were perfect, they were both required to go to school for parent training before they had the babies, because even though they were perfect, they had never had babies before, so they needed to get some basic training.
就是说这2个他们都需要经过培训，在那个之前呢，就是没有养育经验的，对，他就是要获得这样的训练。
So that's the best I can do with that.
对，他就说那让我们想这样的一个类比，那么你就知道他经验的不可替代性。对， 就是它品质上可以是完美的，但是它经验上的需要这些的那个充盈和这个丰富，然后来使它成为一个更好的创造者，是这样的一个概念。
Okay, here's Karen, here's the last paragraph. The first stage of adjuster evolution is attained in fusion with the surviving soul of a mortal being. The first stage of adjuster evolution is attained in fusion with the surviving soul of a mortal being. Thus, while you are in nature evolving inward and upward from man to God, the adjusters are in nature evolving outward and downward from God to man. And so will the final product of this union of divinity and humanity eternally be the Son of Man and the Son of God.
调整者进化的第一阶段是在与一个凡人存有之续存灵魂的融合中达到的。因此，当你在本质上从人到神向内向上演化时，调整者在本质上从神到人向外向下演化。因此，这种神性和人性结合的最终产物将永远是人之子和神之子。
Wow. Ricky, that's interesting because Jesus was the Son of God and the Son of Man. And they're saying that's what we're all going to be. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah， 就是说那个耶稣呢，他就是相当于是既是神之子，又是人之子啊，我们也是啊，这个是非常非常重要的一个概念。
So we're all going to be, it's like we're all going to be half God, half man.
就相当于就是说，我们每个人都是一半神一半人的。
And this last paragraph also says that the first stage of adjuster evolution is attained in fusion with the surviving soul of a mortal being. So that they're saying that, apparently they have many, more stages, but the first stage for an adjuster, their first complete, stage, they've attained the first stage is when we fuse. Now that won't even be in the first Morancha world. Most likely it'll be in, we'll live a few Morancha, lives before we fuse, because we're from this kind of planet. We're not a very evolved planet, so it's going to take us a little longer than some. But that's what the adjuster's goal is, to fuse with us. That's when their real adventure begins, because then we're one, and they know where they are, they know who they are. They don't have to keep going back for training and going into other beings. So that's why they're spending so much time preparing us for the Morancha world, because they're really preparing us to fuse with them. If we don't fuse, then all their work is with us is it's not for nothing, because they acquire good experience for the next person, but they really want to fuse with us.
Yeah， 对呀，就是在这个世界之后呢，我们还会经历很多的生活阶段呢，跟那个融合之后，但是呢，只有在融合之后，我们跟思想调整者融合之后，那么真正的冒险才开始。所以在这个现在的这个人生啊、世界啊，它就是在准备我们去跟他们融合，这个是最重要的任务。
Ricky, do you think we should take a little break and go read a little bit of Chinese religion, or just read the next section here first?
I think we should read the religion part. I don't
Okay,
think
let's-
we have time to do this, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people here still because we started earlier, so I think we might be able to read the next section of self-acting adjusters. But let's skip to the religion part. Just take a little break.
But remember that we said we start on 7:30, although we are late, and we want to end like 9:30. So we really don't have time to do the second self-acting
okay.
adjuster. So we want to go to the religion part,
Okay.
Yeah. next stage.
Oh, and will you remind everyone right now that we started at 7:30 because I don't think everyone remembered.
Yeah, I already informed that last week. So we start by 7:30.
Okay, just
We
have
wanna end up-
just say it again in the group this week because I don't know if everyone remembered because there was only like one person here at 7:30.
对，就是大家刚刚调节到7:30，就是说的，当然这是第一次哈，大家不太习惯。那么下一次我们争取，都按时，这样的话我们可以早一点开始。那么现在休息一下，然后我们下一半读那个94篇啊，关于佛教的部分。这一篇先都读到这儿。那个 Karen，不是荣，你还在吗？你可不可以把那个94篇那个发给我一下，用微信发给我一下，我好分享屏幕。好的
Ricky 有人问问题哦，
Yeah， 问。
Okay.
那个在那个对话
Karen has a question. Karen.
sure.
No， 我说对话框有问题。In the
in the
chat
chat window. OK。你请问思想调整透过不同的凡人去学习生活经验吗 ？Cindy asked, is that true that the thought adjuster learn about life experience through different mortal being?
Yes, but I mean, there's a virgin adjuster. I think some people on our planet have virgin adjusters, and that means you're their first being. And you may merge with that. You may fuse with that adjuster. And that means that adjuster would only have one mortal experience. But I think more often, I'm guessing that more often the ones that fuse have had experience in quite a few people, or maybe many people, because not all, I know there's a lot to translate, but not all mortals fuse with adjusters. There's different kinds of mortals on other worlds that don't fuse. So the adjuster is not even trying to fuse with them. It's just getting experience, just helping them through their one mortal life. But with us, we are beings that do fuse with our adjusters. So their goal, their plan with us is to fuse with us.
他就说对那个，如果是这个驻居的这个思想调整者，就是第一次驻居在凡人当中，如果那么，比如说驻居在你里面，那么你可能就是他第一个，对，那个就是这个思想调整之前没有跟凡人驻居的经验，那么，很多情况下就是那个。如果那个凡人他没有选择跟这个思想调整者融合的话，那么思想调整他就离开了嘛，离开了他就可以用他的经验用于驻居到下一个人的时候用，所以就是就是我们的内住的思想调整者就很有可能他已经有很多的驻居了很多凡人的经验，然后这些经验都可以就用于应用到跟我们更有利的。更方便的跟我们来交通交流，所以这个问题，你那个问题就是说它不一定啊，不一定就是说你驻居在你们这里边呢，他是第一次驻居啊，还是已经跟别的不同的凡人已经驻居过了，这都不一定的。Yeah, Cindy, do you have more question about?
Will you ask her question again? Because I forget what her question was exactly.
Cindy asked whether or not thought adjuster acquire different experiences through different mortal beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
他的那个答案对你这个问题就是说是的。
Except as I said, if the it's possible a virgin adjuster could indwell one person and that person could end up fusing, in which case that adjuster would only have one mortal being. But I think that's probably unusual. That's my guess. My guess.
但是有可能他驻居的第一个人他就完成了跟他的融合，那样的话他就相当于就只有一个凡人的经验。但是海迪认为这种情况应该是比较少的啊。
My guess is, and I think it'll say some stuff about this, but is that virgin adjusters are more likely assigned to more primitive people or people that are less likely to fuse, meaning they're maybe less spiritual or they have less spiritual endowment. That's my guess, that a virgin adjuster would be more likely volunteer for a person to indwell a person that is less likely to fuse, because that's how they would acquire experience. And someone who is very likely to fuse, for instance, who is very maybe has a family history of very spiritual, very evolved people, things like that, they would more likely be given a more advanced or evolved or experienced adjuster. That is my guess.
他就说初始的调整者一般情况下驻居的都是比较原始的啦，比较不太可能就达成最后的融合的啦。去驻居这样的，然后得到一些比较初始的那个人类的经验。那么如果你是比较灵性发展已经比较高的，那么很有可能达成这一世达成这个融合，跟这个像调整者融合的。那么一般都给他派驻比较更高等的、比较有经验的像调整者来驻居这样的个体，就是这样的话，就是两方质量都比较高，然后比较容易达成续存，就是成功率比较高，是这样的概念。Yeah.
But I think we read last week, having an advanced adjuster, a very experienced adjuster, does not guarantee that you will survive or fuse with that adjuster. You may fail to survive no matter how advanced your adjuster is, because half of it depends on you. You know,
那就有一个那个比较更先进的发达的像调整者，并不一定能够确保续存。因为这一般来讲，一半的可能性它是基于我们，因为我们的自由意志选择是否续存，这也是很重要的决定因素。
Okay. So we're going to go to paper 94, just because we're trying to catch up on a little of the Chinese religion, that what the Urantia book says about the Chinese religions. So we're going back to paper 94 and the Melchizedek teachings in the Orient.
继续94篇关于那个东方的麦基喜德教导。那我们 Karen 你帮我读一会儿哈，我出去一下。
And we're on number 7, Gautama Siddhartha.
这是第7部分，是乔达摩悉达多。那么这个就是佛陀他的名字啊。Yeah.
We already read about we read quite a lot already. No, we read about, no, that was India. We read about I'm sorry. We just read about the struggle for truth in China. Lao Tzu and Confucius. That's all. That's the 2 sections we read about.
我们已经读了第5和6篇，那个就是道教啊、孔子啊，那个已经完成了。
So this is about well, never mind what it's about. Let's just start reading. Is it Karen? Karen, are you going to read? Are you going to translate?
Karen，
I don't，我没有看到 document 啊 ，I don't have the document。
Okay.
现在能看到我的分享屏幕吗？
你的还是109啊？
哦，是吗？Stop sharing. I thought I'm sharing screen, but obviously I didn't.
You're so bad. You're so bad.
Yeah, it's a very different iPad and laptop, you know. Karen, are you able to read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Gautama Siddhartha. Contemporary with Lao Tzu and Confucius in China, another great teacher of truth arose in India. So at the same time, Gautama Siddhartha was born in the 6th century before Christ in the North Indian province of Nepal. His followers later made it appear that he was the son of a fabulously wealthy ruler, but in truth, he was the heir apparent to the throne of a petty chieftain who ruled by sufferance over a small and secluded mountain valley in the southern Himalayas.
Can you go back to the up here? 与中国老子和孔子同时代的另一位伟大真理导师出现在印度。乔达摩悉达多出生在基督前6世纪印度北部的尼泊尔省。他的追随者后来令其next page 令其看起来他是一位极其富有统治者的儿子，但事实上他是一个小酋长王位的既定继承人。后者以容忍的方式统治着喜马拉雅山脉南麓的一个小而闭塞的山谷。
So Ricky, Gautama Siddhartha is the guy who later became known as the Buddha.
So Ricky is not here.
Oh, okay. Do you know what I just said?
Not really.
Well, this guy that we're reading about, Gautama Siddhartha, he is the Buddha. He is the Buddha.
我们现在读的这个人，他就是佛陀。
Okay. All right. So I'll read the next paragraph. Gautama formulated those theories which grew into the philosophy of Buddhism after 6 years of the futile practice of yoga. Siddhartha made a determined but unavailing fight against the growing caste system. There was a lofty sincerity and a unique unselfishness about this young prophet prince that greatly appealed to the men of those days. He detracted from the practice of seeking individual salvation through physical affliction and personal pain, and he exhorted his followers to carry his gospel to all the world.
在6年徒劳无功的瑜伽修行后，乔达摩创建出了那些后来发展为佛教哲学的理论。悉达多对不断发展的等级体系做了坚决但却徒劳的斗争。这位年轻的先知王子身上所具有的崇高诚挚和独特无私，极大地吸引着那些日子的人们。 他贬低那种通过身体折磨和个人痛苦来寻求个体救赎的做法。他还劝诫其追随者们将其福音带到全世界。
Okay, Ricky, do you know where we are?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to say that, so they're saying that but that Siddhartha is the Buddha. His real name was Gautama Siddhartha, and we call him the Buddha. But he, what they're saying is that before he came along, there was a practice of seeking individual salvation through physical affliction and personal pain, right? So they used to think that they could become enlightened by physically hurting themselves, and he stopped all that. He's put an end to that.
他就是在这个佛陀那个宣扬他的教法之前，那个印度比较的盛行的一些，甚至现在也还有那个这种的实践，就是通过身体折磨呀、个人痛苦呀，来寻求个体救赎啊。你这个折磨自己，然后来寻求灵性方面的一种开悟啊，一种超脱啊，这种做法。然后那个相当于佛陀是不认可这样的一种的修行方法的。
It also says that he formulated the theories which grew into the philosophy of Buddhism after 6 years of the futile practice of yoga. So he practiced yoga for 6 years, but he finally gave it up. He said it's not working. And then he formulated the theories that became Buddhism. Yoga didn't work. He tried for 6 years, didn't work for him.
对，他就是他也是相当于也实践了当时流行的修行方法，瑜伽修行啊，还是那种的鞭挞自己身体折磨的修行，他就是6年实践，快把自己饿死了。所以他是发现那些的修行方法，没有效果，然后他才发展出自己的，后来成为这个佛教哲学的那些的理念。
That's not to say that yoga might not be good for you. It's but it is saying that it's not a valid religion.
并不是说这瑜伽这个修炼本身没有用，而是它不是一个有效的宗教。
Some Christians think that yoga and all these other kinds of things are very anti-Christ and demonic. I don't think they're demonic. I think, you're just stretching your body, right? I don't think it's going to hurt you. It's just not a valid, it's not, you're not necessarily going to get closer to God by doing yoga. You might, but Buddha didn't. After 6 years of trying.
那个瑜伽修行，那个基督教非常反对瑜伽修行，认为那个是反基督的，是魔鬼那一类的。但是呢，当然这个海蒂并不这么认为。那么他认为瑜伽修炼呢，或者是身体的舒展呢，没有什么坏处。但是呢，也许那个佛陀就是发现它不是一个那个什么的有效的宗教信仰。
It also says he made a determined but unavailing fight against the growing caste system, which means that 6 centuries before Christ, right? So 600 BC, that there was a growing caste system. So the caste system of India, which is so intense, so crazy, it was growing. It was just growing at his time. And he tried determined effort. He tried very hard to stop it, but he didn't succeed.
因为印度的种姓制度，因为那个佛陀就是非常坚定的去想要跟这种种姓制度的这种的体系做斗争，但是呢，确实很徒劳的。这种姓制度是不是到现在都还有啊？这个是6世纪，就公元前6世纪，那个佛陀就开始跟这个做斗争。那么他实际上他是非常非常先进的，对呀。
So, and then it says, there was a lofty sincerity and a unique unselfishness about this young prophet prince that greatly appealed to the men of those days. So this book is, they're calling him a prophet, right? They're giving him credit. They're saying, calling him a prophet prince, and they're saying it was a unique unselfishness and a lofty sincerity. So he was uniquely sincere and unselfish, and he was a prophet. That's what this book is saying about
对，
Buddha.
那月下之书相当于给佛陀的定位也很高啊。那个说他是一个先知王子，啊，具有崇高的诚挚和独特的无私，这个，所以就是他是非常先进的，在他那个时代。
Okay. Okay, Karen, next, I'm reading the next paragraph. Gautama formulated those theories which grew. Oh, no, I already read that. Amid the confusion. Oh, wait, he detracted from the parasite. Okay.
The third one.
Yeah.
The third?
Wait a minute. And he exhorted his followers to carry the gospel to all the world. Okay. So Ricky, he did what Jesus did. He told his followers to carry his message throughout the world.
就像耶稣一样，他也劝诫他的追随者将这个福音带到全世界。
Okay, now I'll read the next paragraph. Amid the confusion and extreme cult practices of India, the saner and more moderate teachings of Gautama came as a refreshing relief. He denounced gods, priests, and their sacrifices, but he too failed to perceive the personality of the one universal. Not believing in the existence of individual human souls, Gautama, of course, made a valiant fight against the time-honored belief in transmigration of the soul. He made a noble effort to deliver men from fear, to make them feel at ease and at home in the great universe, but he failed to show them the pathway to that real and supernal home of ascending mortals, paradise, and to the expanding service of eternal existence.
在印度混乱和极端宗教做法中间，乔达摩较为理智且较为中庸的教导，如同一种清新的慰藉出现了。他声讨过诸神、祭司及其祭献，但他也未能感知到一体变在者的人格。由于不相信个体人类灵魂的存在，乔达摩理所当然地对由来已久的灵魂转世信仰做了英勇的斗争。他做出了高尚的努力，以将人类从恐惧中解救出来，让他们在巨大的宇宙中感到安心自在。但他未能指给他们通往天堂及扬升凡人那一真正无上家园的道路，以及通往永恒存在之不断扩展服务的道路。
Okay. Ricky, I'm going to say something.
I am with you.
So this paragraph says a lot because it's saying that what he did right, all the good he did, but how he also failed, not failed, but how, where he missed the point, where he didn't go quite far enough. But, they're not blaming him. I mean, he lived a long time ago. He had a lot. It was a very primitive time. So there was a lot of confusion, cult practices, and his religion was saner and more moderate than everything else. And it came as a big relief to these Indian people, this saner and more moderate religion that he created, he brought to them.
对，当然佛陀生活的年代是比较的原始的年代。那么，这篇就是分析他哪一部分做的比较好的，哪一部分呢又做的比较没有那么完全的。没有，就是说正好就是像打靶子一样，就打到靶心的那些的部分，不太完整了。
He denounced gods, multiple gods, priests, and their sacrifices. So these are some of the things he got rid of, these crazy, pagan ritual beliefs.
他就是对他说他声讨过诸神、祭司及其献祭，这个都是当时那些的，当地宗教啊、邪教啊、外邦啊那些的重视仪式化的那些的迷信的那些的仪式，他都是不赞同的。
So this says that he didn't believe in individual souls. He didn't believe in souls. So wait a minute. 1 second. I'm just trying to, oh, shoot. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back in the meeting.
对，他不相信个人有这个灵魂，就是有单独的个体的灵魂，他不相信这个，他也未能感知到一体变在者的人格，就是一切万有嘛，就是那个神。
I don't know how to do this. It's saying that he didn't believe in souls, so he didn't believe in the transmigration of souls, which is reincarnation.
他不相信灵魂转世信仰。But in Buddhism, the reincarnation is kind of basic belief in their system. So why this sentence says, he fight against that transmigration of the soul.
Yes. So you're saying that Buddhism does believe in reincarnation?
Well, in current Buddhism, reincarnation is kind of was integrated as the basic belief in Buddhism. Although actually, it is not actually taught by Buddhists. Yeah, I think I read a lot of such article that actually those reincarnation theory is actually it's from the pagan, from those other religions in India, but not actually Buddha's teaching, not part of the Buddha's teaching. So this sentence actually kind of verified this.
Okay. So he's saying, but they're saying he not believing in the existence of individual human souls. Of course, he made a valiant fight against the time-honored belief in transmigration of soul. So they're saying he made a valiant fight, which is a good fight, but they're not
Yeah.
saying he totally succeeded in getting rid of the belief, because you know how strong the belief in reincarnation is in India.
Right. Yeah.
But he made
Yeah.
a good fight
就
against
是对，这转世轮回啊，实际上是印度的本土宗教那些的什么婆罗门教啊还是什么奥义书啊，那里边呢，他们的根本教会，实际上佛陀是不认可这个的，他做了很大的斗争嘛，很那个英勇的斗争，但是实际上也没有拗得过这个旧的宗教的影响，并且实际上后来宗教被掺杂之后，这些东西甚至大家都认为它是佛陀的教诲，实际上根本不是的。
But they're also pointing out that he didn't believe in reincarnation because he didn't believe in the individual soul. This book is telling us we do have an individual soul. We just don't, it just doesn't keep coming back to earth in different bodies. It goes on to other worlds.
对对，就是佛陀不相信有那个个体的灵魂，当然更不相信其实有这个灵魂，它是不停的转世。我们就是那个转世的概念，不是说的反复的回到地球，而是它要进行到就是转世到另外的更高级的人那个世界。
So they're saying he was right about the reincarnation, but he was wrong about the soul.
对，他就说这个地方是说他对灵魂转世信仰那个这方面的论点是正确的，但是呢，他对否认个体灵魂的存在这方面又是错误的。
One of the great things about the Urantia book is that it explains to us exactly what the spirit is, which we're reading about now, the thought adjusters, and what the soul is. And in almost universally, there's been confusion all over until this book, there has been great confusion about what is a soul and what is a spirit.
那就是《与海夏之书》呢，很那个清楚的区分开来这个灵性和灵魂，但是呢，在这个书仔细的阐述这个，认真的给我们这种阐述的清晰脉络之前，其他的灵性书籍几乎都是没有办法区分这个灵性跟灵魂它们之间的一种区别。
Okay, so it says that Gautama Buddha, he made a noble effort to deliver men from fear, to make them feel at ease and at home in the great universe. So before Buddhism, his teachings, the religion was based on fear. He was like, don't be afraid, be happy, be at home in the universe.
在这佛陀之前呢，那些的宗教呢是基于恐惧唤起人的恐惧，但是呢，佛陀相当于给我们一种安心，把我们从恐惧中解救出来。
So he taught men, you're not supposed to be afraid, you're supposed to feel at ease.
对，你不应该恐惧，你应该感到安心自在。
So, but these were his failings. There's two major failings they're talking about in this paragraph. Well, three
就
counting
是
the soul,
在
but
这一段当中有两处这个佛陀失败了。
they say he failed to perceive the personality of the one universal. So that means he was aware of God as a vague, abstract concept, the great spirit, the source and center. He did not see God as a person. He did not see God as God the Father. He did not see God as a personality that you could actually communicate with. He didn't get that.
那么他把神认为是源头，是中心，但是呢，他没有把神当成一个人，是可以跟他交流的人格。
He believed in a creator, and he believed in the love of the universe. He just didn't realize that the creator is a person like us. I won't say like us, but we are a person like God. We're all people. We're all personalities.
对，他相信有创造主，那也相信宇宙的爱，不变的爱。对，但是他没有把就是创造者跟我们的人格就是有一个直接的联系。
But this is not just Buddha, because many religions, and I think, I'm not an expert, but I think even more so Eastern religions see God, the creator, as a more abstract concept, a more universal thing, not a person. I think Christianity was one of the great things about Christianity. One of the better things was that it really, well, the Greek gods were people too, and the Indian gods, but they were like a bunch of different crazy people rather than one person at the center of everything.
那一般的宗教，尤其东方的宗教，总是把神想成一个很抽象的一个概念，代表一切万有的，但是就是没有一个人格的一个因素在里边。那么基督教做的比较好的方面是，他承认有一个一体的创造的神，独一的创造的真神。那么希腊和印度的里边的神都是他们大概都是有很多位的。
So it says that he did a great thing by making men, delivering men from fear and making them feel at ease and at home in the universe. But he failed to show them the pathway to that real and supernal home of ascending mortals, paradise, and to the expanding service of eternal existence. So he did a great thing by saying, you can be content. You don't have to be fearful. You can feel good here in the universe. But I think maybe because he didn't believe in the soul and reincarnation, he didn't conceive of the fact that you could go on to other worlds, that this is just the beginning of an eternal journey to God and to paradise. He had no concept of that.
对，也就是因为他否认每个个体灵魂的存在，所以他也没有可能有这个灵魂扬升啊，到通往天堂的这条路啊，他是不太可能指出来这个通往这个永恒存在的不断扩展的这条道路，他指不出来。
I think you know more about Buddhism than I do, but I think that he believed that when you die, you kind of can sort of merge with God and sort of become one.
Yeah, Nirvana.
Yeah. Well, Nirvana. Yeah. Isn't Nirvana Hindu?
Nirvana is also a concept in Buddhism.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of ultimate world that you progress to, your spirit progress to.
But I mean, Nirvana could be paradise, right? It could be the equivalent, but I think that what Buddha believed was that you lose your unique individuality,
you lose your uniqueness. Yes.
Yeah, you become one with love and God, and which the Urantia book absolutely says is not what happens. You always stay. You even stay a woman if you're a woman, or a man if you're a man. You really do stay yourself. And all the near-death experiences that I've seen, so many by now, maybe 100, they all, some have bodies, some don't have bodies, different situation, but they're all themselves. They always have a very, very strong sense of being themselves still. And I had a near-death experience, and I had that also. I was absolutely myself.
对，那个就是佛教里边涅槃的概念，就是有点类似像天堂一样的哈。但是呢，他认为就是说，当你 跟那个最高境界融合的时候，你失去了自己的独特性哈。但是实际上，月染下之书教导我们，我们始终保持自己的独特性，不管我们进化的层次到哪里，到永恒也保持，仍然保持我们的独特性。
Okay, Karen, I'm going to read the next paragraph. Gautama was a real prophet, and had he heeded the instruction of the hermit Godad, he might have aroused all India by the inspiration of the revival of the Salem gospel of salvation by faith. Godad was descended through a family that had never lost the traditions of the Melchizedek missionaries.
乔达摩是一位真正的先知。假如他留意了隐士格达德的指引，他或许已然通过复兴因信得救的耶撒冷福音这一灵感而唤醒整个印度。格达德是通过一个从未遗失过麦基喜德教士传统的家族而得其所传的。
Ricky, have you guys heard of this guy Godad?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
我一会儿就下了，上面走一会儿就下了。哦，好。
Okay, Karen, I'll read the next one. At Benares, Gautama founded his school, and it was during its second year that a pupil, Botan, imparted to his teacher the traditions of the Salem missionaries about the Melchizedek covenant with Abraham. And while Siddhartha did not have a very clear concept of the universal father, he took an advanced stand on salvation through faith, simple belief. He so declared himself before his followers and began sending his students out in groups of 60 to proclaim to the people of India the glad tidings of free salvation, that all men, high and low, can attain bliss by faith in righteousness and justice.
乔达摩在贝纳拉斯创建了他的学院，正是在其第2年，一个学生宝坛将萨冷传教士有关麦基喜德与亚伯拉罕订定圣约的传说告知了其导师。尽管乔达摩并没有一个有关万有之父的清晰概念，但他对因信得救还是采取了一种进步的立场，即单纯的相信。他在其追随者面前就是如此宣称的，并开始将其学生以60人一组的方式派出去向印度民众宣称自由救赎的喜讯，即所有的人不分贵贱都可以通过信仰公平正义而获得极乐。
Okay, I'm going to read the next one. Gautama's wife believed her husband's gospel and was the founder of an order of nuns. His son became his successor and greatly extended the cult. He grasped the new idea of salvation through faith, but in his later years wavered regarding the Salem gospel of divine favor through faith alone. And in his old age, his dying words were, work out your own salvation.
乔达摩的妻子相信了她丈夫的福音，也是一个尼姑团体的创建者。他的儿子成了他的继承者，并极大地扩展了这一教派。他把握了这种因信得救的新观念，但在其后来岁月中，对单靠信仰而获神恩的萨冷福音有所动摇。在其晚年，他的遗言是： 征得你自己的救赎。
下一段都读完吧 Karen 把这一部分都读完吧。
在获得宣扬的鼎盛期，萨达摩普遍救赎，没有祭献、苦行、仪式和祭祀的福音，对其时代而言是一种充满革新、惊世骇俗的教义。它出人意料的类似于一场萨冷福音的复兴，它给千百万无望的灵魂带来了救赎。尽管在后来的多个世纪中，它被无理的曲解了，但它仍作为千百万人的希望而存续了下来。7之8，乔达摩所教导的真理，要比据其名的现代教派中所幸存下来的真理远出许多。现代佛教不再是乔达摩悉达多的教导，正如基督教不再是拿撒勒耶稣的教导了一样。
Yeah, Heidi, we completed reading the session.
Okay.
Section
Okay.
7
So
altogether.
okay. So it says that his son, that his wife created an order of nuns. That's interesting, and that his son did a great job of spreading the word and expanded the religion and totally grasped the Melchizedek idea of salvation through faith. But then he lost his own faith, and at the very end of his life, he told people, work out your own salvation, which is really funny because he's saying, forget faith. It's not going to help you. Work it out yourself.
Yeah. 对。
He preached about faith through his life, and then he lost his faith.
对啊，就说这个佛陀的儿子也是很好笑，他一生的传播这个因信得救的真理，但是到晚年的时候呢，却是说你争取你自己的救赎，就是相当于不要依靠信仰了，你自己通过自己的努力去争得自己的救赎吧，就完全背弃了自己的一生传播的信仰。
So his whole life he's saying, the son, this is the son of Buddha. His whole life he's saying, you will get divine favor through faith. All you need is faith. And then at the end of his life, well, you may not get any favor through faith. Forget faith. Just try to get it on your own.
对，这一信称义就是说你靠信仰可以得到一些神圣的一些的好处，但是呢，到末了去说那没有用，你这个信也没有用，你自己去争取吧，自己靠自己的努力争得吧。
Not a very uplifting message.
是不是那么令人鼓舞的消息哈？鼓舞人的消息。
Okay, and then I'll just read the last two paragraphs in English, even though you've already translated them.
Yeah.
When proclaimed at its best, Gautama's gospel of universal salvation, free from sacrifice, torture, ritual, and priests, was a revolutionary and amazing doctrine for its time. And it came surprisingly near to being a revival of the Salem gospel. It brought succor to millions of despairing souls, and notwithstanding its grotesque perversion during later centuries, it still persists as the hope of millions of human beings. Siddhartha taught far more truth than has survived in the modern cults bearing his name. Modern Buddhism is no more the teachings of Gautama Siddhartha than is Christianity the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. Wow. So much for that. And then next week we'll read about the Buddhist faith, and then the next week we'll read about the spread of Buddhism, and then we'll read the religion in Tibet, the Buddhist philosophy, and the God concept of Buddhism.
下一星期还是讲佛教的，然后还讲那个西藏的佛教西藏的传播的，对，都是关于中国的萨冷教。那Yeah, I think Buddhism indeed have incorporated many teachings that from Indian, other native Indian religion, not actually pure Buddha's teachings. So indeed, the contemporary Buddhism is very much distorted.
Well, it's saying it's as distorted as Christianity is from Jesus's teachings, and that's very distorted.
对，那就是现代的佛教里边其实掺杂了很多，并不是起初佛陀的教导。那个就像基督教也并不是完全是拿撒勒人耶稣当初的教导一样，就所有的现代的那些主流的宗教，其实都跟原来那个先知的教导的基本的教义都已经都已经背离了，可能是说掺杂到就是认不出来了。
And this is why I really don't want to be critical of the Urantia Foundation and other study groups and Urantia book teachers, and I don't want to criticize anyone. I know I do criticize them, but I don't want to criticize them. But I'm just so aware of how Buddhism and Christianity were all distorted by people changing the meaning of what they were taught. I'm so aware of that. That's so ingrained in me that I get very, very upset as soon as I see anyone making any changes to the teachings as they were given to us.
对，所以就是因为意识到这个，很多的纯正的教导如何的被扭曲、被掺杂，所以他，就是你像现在我们读到的佛教和基督教的例子，所以当他看到有人就是往那个，月亮下之书教导这个过程当中去掺沙子，或者是扭曲他原来的意思的时候，我就是非常的敏感，也非常的难过。当然就是说他有时候就是批评别人，那么实际上虽然他不想批评，但是他因为非常敏感，他就不由自主的就批评了，就这意思。Yeah, I know that you are sensitive on the impurity.
Ever since I first read the book and I saw how the apostles, some of them stuck to Jesus's teachings and others went way off on a tangent, it just seems so crazy to me that you can receive the truth from someone so much smarter than you, and then you think you can improve it or change it. Why would you do that? I mean, to me, that shows such a disrespect for your teacher, you know?
那就是基督的使徒，那么对，他们在传播耶稣的教导的时候，他们又觉得自己可以提高啊、改变啊，那个耶稣原来的想好像发展的意思，就是实际上是非常的不尊敬的。I think you're talking about Paul. Paul is
I'm always talking about Paul.
Paul, proclaimed himself to spread Jesus' teaching, but actually he distorted. But he himself think that it is an advancement. He is doing a great deed by spreading his teaching, but he didn't realize that his teaching is a great distortion of the original teaching offered by Jesus. Yeah.
Well, not all of it, only a couple things. I think he stuck to most of it, but the concept of original sin, the Urantia book says he came up with that himself. That was original with him. And
Yeah,
that is
the-
now
Yeah.
modern Christianity is so focused on that idea. That's like the central theme of Western Christianity, not Eastern, not Orthodox.
那就是对，就是那个保罗作为这个什么，耶稣的使徒，当然是后来他死了之后，他自己那个接受基督教之后，他的那个宣扬基督教法，但是呢，他的这个原罪的概念是挺害人的，是相当于现在西方的基督教，相当于已经把这原罪的概念作为这个基督教的一个中心的理念。可是实际上，与海蒂之书就说这个原罪的概念实际上源于保罗的，并不是源于这个基督的信仰的。那当然，就是好像就是东正教那边好像不还好，还没有这么扭曲。
He came up with this idea that had massive appeal to the pagans because it was all about we're sinners, people are sinners, and God made a sacrifice of his son for us. So it brought back the whole, like, up until that time, people were still doing animal sacrifices. The Jews were still, the Hebrews were doing animal sacrifices while Jesus was alive. They were doing it all over the world. In the Americas, they were Aztecs and Mayans, they were doing human sacrifices. And that idea of sacrifice was so deeply ingrained in people that I think Paul, he just couldn't help himself. He had to bring it back into, because Jesus had nothing to do with sacrifice. God doesn't need blood from anyone. He doesn't need you to kill anybody. And Paul just couldn't resist. Let's bring back, here, we can make Jesus the sacrifice. He died for us. God required a sacrifice. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous idea, but it had.
Yeah. 那就关于牺牲的概念是一个完全外邦的一个信仰。那么在当时的世界，那么那个很多的宗教都是有那个动物牺牲，就是献祭嘛。那包括那个犹太人的这个希伯来的，他们那个犹太教，就是他们也都是献祭嘛，拿动物来献祭来赎罪。那么罪的这个概念，甚至有一些的宗教是拿人来作为献祭，都是为了平息所谓神的怒火，然后都认为神是有罪的。那保罗就把这个罪的概念就混到基督教里边，认为说，神也需要这个耶稣来作为赎价，作为人的罪的赎价，来作为牺牲，来赎人的罪。可是实际上，耶稣上十字架跟那个赎罪根本没有一点的关系，这是一个非常非常大的扭曲。
But there's another side of this, and that is maybe I don't have enough faith, because the Urantia book says that Paul was one of the greatest teachers who ever lived on this planet.
那这个愿下之书说，保罗是这个地球上少见的很伟大的教师。
So maybe it happened the way it was supposed to happen. Maybe Paul did just what he was supposed to do. He created a religion for, Greeks and Romans, and maybe they weren't ready to move past sacrifice and all that crazy stuff. Maybe they still aren't, because half of the American Christians are running around talking about how Jesus died for your sins. Maybe the world wasn't, maybe half of the world was not ready for Jesus's teachings yet. Just as most of the world isn't ready for the Urantia book teachings yet. Maybe it has to be done this way. Maybe when I criticize other people, maybe they have to do it that way. Maybe, you know what I mean? Because when the when the truth needs to be told, you know, these celestial beings are going to come and tell us.
对，就是保罗那么把这个基督教的信仰在希腊和这个罗马人当中广布，那么使基督教变成这样一个世界上比较有影响力的这么一个宗教。那么一半的美国人就是说是基督徒，他就说也许就是这在神的命定当中，就是要这个样子的这样的成就的，大概就是人没有办法就是接受最纯正的那个灵性教导之前，他大概是要跟外邦的有一些的妥协，然后诞生出这样一种有掺杂的这么一种宗教。那可能月染下之书是不是我也不太了解到底那个Heidi 想要表达什么意思。Yeah, what do you mean by Urantia book? You know, you think the Urantia book might undergo the same process like the adulterated teachings goes along with pure teaching. Is that what you mean?
I mean, okay. After Jesus died, there was Abner, who had been John the Baptist's main follower, and there was Nathaniel, one of the apostles. A few of them stayed pure to his teachings. So they had a rift with Peter and Paul and the others who decided to sort of do it their own way and change the teachings to appeal to the masses of people. So they separated, and they you know, never came back together. I of course, my loyalty is to Peter and Nathaniel and Abner, and that I feel like that eventually evolved into the Orthodox Christian Church. But what I'm saying is, maybe it was supposed to be that way. Maybe even though Abner and Nathaniel did the right thing, they did what Jesus told them to. They taught his message and didn't contaminate it. They didn't reach as many people. And the Urantia book is not saying that they were the Urantia book says that Paul is one of the greatest teachers that ever lived on the planet. There is something to be said for that. In other words, they're not really condemning him. They're saying that he got this completely wrong, but they're still saying he was a great teacher. I'm just condemning him. Maybe I'm not giving him the respect he deserves, even though he made this one big mistake. Maybe he still did so much good that maybe it was meant to be.
他就是这个地方是Heidi 的一种的那个，他说这个耶稣的使徒当中，像 Abner 啊、Nathaniel 啊，他们就是传的是耶稣本来的教导。那 Peter 和这个保罗，那么就是稍微偏离了教导，就是他们就分开了，各传各的那样的。没有虽然那个他们就是这个，但是呢，月染下之书仍然就是认可保罗是地球上出现的伟大的精神导师之一吧。那没有否定他的功德。那么他就说，虽然那一部分没有掺杂的教导那一部分，这方面他们做得好，但是他们并没有广传开来啊，他们就没有把这耶稣的信仰广传开来。所以那个那一部分人虽然他有点掺杂，但是他比较广传的呀。所以呢，那个海蒂就说，也许我不应该这么去咒骂这部分有掺杂的人，就是说相当于他们也对传播信仰做出贡献的。
Maybe millions of people on earth at that time were not ready for Jesus's teachings. they were ready for Paul's contaminated teachings, which were still much better than what they had been believing.
那么他就说，也许那上百万的人呢，他们就没有做好准备接受那最纯正的教导，那么他们更容易接受这种掺杂了的教导，来取代他以前他们那种更不好的那种的宗教的信仰。
Because 2,000 years later, there are still millions of people in the United States who love the idea of original sin.
那你想啊，现在是2000年已经过去了，那么这个一半的美国人他仍然还是就是热爱那个关于原罪的这样的一种想法，一种理念。
They can't get enough of it.
他们这个爱不够，就是爱不释手，对这个概念爱不释手，就是他们很难丢弃这个原罪的概念。
It's their favorite thing.
啊，这是他们最爱的事情之一，就是他们认为这个赎罪哈，就是人最有意义的事情。Yeah, they love it. Oh, okay, my faith, believe in Jesus,
He died for your
deliver me.
sins. He died. You're sinners. Repent, repent. You're all
Repent.
sinners. Jesus died for your sins. This is some
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, 他们相信忏悔啊，相信这个罪的概念，那个忏悔给他们带来救赎啊，那么他们真的是非常的。
These people aren't ready for the Urantia book.
那就是这些人，他们是没有做好准备来接受月染下之书的。
I was brought up a Christian as a little kid.
我在基督教的环境下长大的。
But there's no way I would ever have believed in the original sin doctrine, no matter how I was brought up. And way before I ever saw the Urantia book, I would never have believed that. It makes no sense to me.
那虽然如此，但是在你接触月染下之书之前，我也不相信这个原罪说，我根本没有办法相信。
So maybe at all times, we have to have pure religion and adulterated religion, because not everyone's ready for the higher belief system yet. They can't, they have to work there, they have to go there in stages. You can't just force it on people.
对，他就在猜测，也许就是在这个人类的长河当中，那总是要先有一些的掺杂的那个，就是信仰，然后再接受更高的纯正的信仰，大概这个是个必经的过程。
But then there's a whole different question, and that's like when you have when Carolyn Kendall is telling us about the publication mandate, she's saying that the people in the original forum, many of them were not very happy about the publication mandate.
他就是的那个 Caroline Kendall，就是那个我们曾经看的那个录像，他给大家读那个关于出版的那个建言的那个最后的一篇那些的作者的传导的指示。那他就说提到那个论坛的一部分人非常的不高兴，这个东西，就读到这一篇的时候，非常的不赞同。
Carolyn Kendall was in the original forum when the original Urantia papers were being created, and the publication mandate was the last message that they received from the revelators, the authors of the book. And we've read it here.
Caroline 看到是在最初的那个论坛不就是讨论接收这个就是月染下之书那些的启示的嘛？那就是那篇的关于出版的那个指示的那篇是最后的启示者最后给他们的传导的信息。
The publication mandate was read aloud to the forum twice, 2 different times.
那他们就是这篇呢，是在2个时间被读给这个论坛的人听。
And many copies of it were made and given to all the leaders of the Urantia Foundation at all the leaders associated with the foundation at that time. They all received copies.
那就是论坛和这个基金会的领导都接到这样的一个那个拷贝。
The Urantia, the publication mandate basically told us that the Urantia book is written for a future era.
那个指导，关于出版的指导里边呢，明确的指出这本书是为未来的时代来写的。
After that will come after all of the trials and tribulations that are going to happen first. The modern trials and tribulations have to happen, and then there'll be a future era later on, not right away, when people will be ready for these teachings.
他就说那个就是在人们准备好接受这本书之前，要经历过很多的试炼，很多的磨难。那未来的时代的人就才会那个准备好接受这本书。
The publication mandate said that our job is to, well, their job, because it was 70 years ago, but I don't think it's changed very much, is to make translations of the book and to create thousands of study groups around the world so that later on, when people are ready, the infrastructure will be in place and they'll be able to study it and read it, and the translations will be there. That was their only job. 2 things. That was all they were supposed to do.
那个他就是那个里边就只是说那个我基金会的任务呢，就是要2件事，一个就是促进翻译成各种的版本，然后就是促进各种的那个就是学习小组的成立。这样的话呢，那等是未来的时代准备好要接受这本书的时候，那么一些的形而上的这些的结构就是已经形成了，可以就是方便大家学习了。
But she says, and she was there, she says that many of the people in the forum were disappointed when they heard that.
那他就是 Kendall 就说 Mr. Kendall 就说他说当那个就是论坛的人听到这个，有一些的人非常的失望，听到这个指示。
He says, and we have 2 videos, 2 different videos where she's talking about this.
对，我们有2个录像，就是关于 Caroline 就提到这个的。对，第一个我们大概已经听了，第2个我还没有分享。对。
One of them we already played in this study group.
对，就是对第一个已经分享过了。
And she says that some of the people were disappointed because they were already planning big assemblies. They thought, now that the book is done, now that we're about to publish the book, we're going to have these great big meetings and we're going to announce the new revelation to the world.
他们就认为这么重大的启示，那他们要计划一个非常大的集会，那他这个出版这本书，然后要把这新的星球的启示让所有的人都知道。
this study group is a very small group of people who are studying the book, trying to learn it together. And they weren't so thrilled with that idea. A lot of them. Some of them were. Carol and Kendall liked the idea.
对，那就是小的学习小组啊，很小的，那么不是那么显得那么激动人心。但是 Carolyn Kendall 他是赞同这个说法。
But these other people, they like the idea of a big auditorium full of people and they getting up on stage and saying, "Here, look what I have. I have a new revelation for you."
对，那其他的人呢，就是也许他们喜欢一个很大的讲堂，充满了人，然后他们可以在台上说：“你看看我，你带来什么？我带来的是新的行星启示。”
And many of these same people, for the rest of their lives, and some of them are still alive, they just go from one big conference to another big conference, meeting with people, most of whom they already know, and they meet with them every year, many times, in all different locations, and they read and they write papers about the book, and they read their papers about the book, and they read their papers to each other, and they read each other's papers, and they tell each other how great they are over and over and over again. You you see these interviews they have, and they say, "You're so wonderful. No, you're so wonderful. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful." Yeah. They're so in love with each other, which is nice, but sometimes I think they might be more in love with each other than with the book.
你看，就是有一些的人呢，就是他们写文章啊，他们互相之间就读给对方听啊，然后呢，接受采访啊。你看，像那个提到我跟那个海底有来回的分享那些在油管上那些的面谈、那些约谈的视频，他们就是互相之间分享他们的那个就是说他们之间的这种的关系，互相爱对方，那么甚至超过了爱与染下之书。这个是海底在调侃他们。Yeah, that's a good network. You know, we all love Uransha book. That's why we love each other. Huh?
Well, it's like you know so much about the book. You are so wise. Give me more knowledge about the book.
I admire you so much.
That is such a beautiful concept you have about the book. You please tell me more about the book. It's not about the book, it's about them.
他就说：“你看，你懂这本书，懂这么多，你看看，你是在这样一个美丽的存在。你看，你再给我们分享你对这本书的看见。那就是说，他们相当于，对他们由此而形成这样的一个网络，一个社交网络一样。
It's. I have to be nicer.
他说我得大概要闭嘴了，不应该说太多了。
But I just want to make sure that Mariag and Dantas keep our focus on the book.
我只想强调，就是说我们这个坚定，就是那个快乐的坚定不移者小组呢，能够把我们的注意力放在这本书上，而不是放在我们互相之间的友谊上。
Not how wonderful we are for reading it.
而不是我们作为这个人，哎呀，有多么了不起啊，有多么的能干啊，有多么的树林啊，不是这样子的。Yeah. That's the focus are, diverted, it's kind of it's wrong path to.
It's just, it's I think there are a lot of really good people. I think they just they don't even know they're doing it.
他说有很多这些人都很好，可能他们也不知道他们在做什么。
I just think their focus is so much on each other that they don't reach many people that way. You know, I think the other thing is, I think that they have this idea in their head that they're supposed to be like apostles and disciples and great teachers of this revelation. And I told Ricky, I told you I told the group last week, we have a book now. It's in print. We have the internet. It's not like the times of Buddha and the times of Jesus, where you need people to go out and tell people what they said. They can read it for themselves. They can go online. We're in a different era now.
Yeah， 那就说那个就是你也许他们自诩为使徒啊，或者伟大的教师啊，但是实际上他们并没有去接触到更多的人。那么就是我们现在的时代，就是说不光是有书啊，我们还有那个互联网啊，那跟那个耶稣和佛陀的时代都不同了。就是其实人们都可以自己读这本书，也可以就是上网搜寻到很多的资料。
Anyway, I should let you nice Chinese people go to sleep.
他就说这个对，现在10点多了，应该让大家休息了。Yeah, you are so considerate.
We can turn off the recording and
Lenient.
we can stop recording and keep talking if we want.
Okay, let's stop recording. No. Where is it? Yeah.